Question 40 in the Book of Questions. If the person you were engaged to marry had an accident and became a paraplegic, would you go through with the marriage or back out of it? Right, a paraplegic is someone who's lost the use of the legs. Now, there's nothing in the question to say that this is in any way permanent. But let us, for the sake of argument, say that it is, because it makes the question too easy to answer if it isn't. So if she's going to be fine in a couple of months, oh yeah, I can wait a couple of months and help her through the recovery process, and then we'll have an anecdote about it. Did you know we got married in a wheelchair? Did you know that? Yeah. But let's say it's permanent. But paraplegic is not quadriplegic. She can use her arms, she can speak, she can live a pretty full life, actually. But I'll never be able to dance with her. Oh, actually, that's not completely true. I have, on at least 3 occasions, had a dance with someone in a wheelchair. It can be done. It can be done. But I think we can all acknowledge that it is at least a limitation. You won't be able to do quite as many dance moves as someone in a wheelchair. So I suppose one of the things here is the nature of marriage. It's a contract. And throughout most of history, it was a contract with a person, and there was a purpose behind it. It was largely for creating heirs. A man would marry a woman so that he could then have heirs, and she would be expected to stick around and help bring up those children. And she wouldn't necessarily be required to be his soulmate or even his best friend or even hang around all that much. She might be busy looking after the children, and he might have, for friends, for companionship, for social interest, might have a completely different circle of friends for that side of his life. It was a contract. Well, marriage is still today a contract, and a lot of lawyers would say that it's a really bad contract when it comes to property. And I think I've come round to this opinion. The idea that, oh no, you ruin the romance by having a prenup, I think, no, get a prenup, seriously, because otherwise the contract you're signing up for is really not a good contract. But it is a contract. And when you haven't signed the contract yet, but you've agreed that you will sign a contract, in other words, you've got engaged, but you haven't got married, is the equivalent in this question. Of course, there is the assumption that under the current circumstances, I agree to go ahead with this thing. Under the current set of understandings. It could, of course, be that alongside her paraplegia would be infertility. The two can go hand in hand. And if the marriage is in order to create children, then if she understands that's what I really want, then she would surely, if she's a reasonable person, allow me to say, okay, fair enough. I now can no longer give you the thing that you were, attracted you into this contract in the first place. So yeah, you can back out. Quadriplegic's very different. Quadriplegic would need everything doing. She wouldn't be able to feed herself, cook. You would be taking on one hell of a task there. And I think in that case, if she loved me and were a reasonable person, she, I think, out of love for me, would say, well, no, actually, I fully understand. You shouldn't go through with it. This isn't what you agreed to by any means. It's a completely different set of circumstances. So, yeah, if she loved me, then she would probably want me to back out. So where's the balance in between the two? Is it paraplegic? The thing is, if she is my soulmate and she makes me laugh and we have so much in common to do with personalities, or our personalities complement each other perfectly or whatever, if I'm in love with her personality, her company, then the fact that she's in a wheelchair, I don't think would swing it. I think if she's in a wheelchair, I would miss the dancing, but I think, yeah, I think I would probably go ahead. But there comes a point when, no, I think I would back out. There comes a point, if someone really cannot do anything for themselves and is just not the person that I fell in love with, then yes, I think I would back out. Does that make me bad?